Dear listeners, please note that the following program may contain views that do not reflect that of King Falls AM, its management, or its subsidiaries. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to King Falls AM, that's 660 on the radio dial. I'm your host, Sammy Stevens, and as always, we are joined by producer and co-host extraordinaire, Ben Arnold.
You're so happy, aren't you? You're a child getting so giddy over that message.
Listening to a warning before a radio broadcast I'm on has literally been on the bucket list for a long time. Thanks, Merv.
Ridiculous. A glutton for punishment.
What can I say? I enjoy a nice game of hardball. But enough about what Merv doesn't want you to hear. Let's talk about what he does want you to hear. And what do we have cooking tonight, Ben?
Dude, it's stacked. All right, stacked. We've got the lovely Miss Emily Potter from the King Falls Library giving us her picks for enlightened summer reading.
Terrific. We always love speaking with Emily.
You and me both.
I said we, Ben.
I know. We've got some really cool news here. We are announcing the lineup for the first annual King Falls Ambient Music Festival. That's coming up the second hour.
Wait a second. The King Falls Ambient Music Festival? Is this town even big enough for a festival?
Oh yeah, it's like Coachella, but for hipsters that just want to relax. It's all about setting the mood.
I'm wondering if they're going to make it to a second annual.
And then, opening up the show, we've got the Dr. Bev.
I'm sorry, Ben. What was that? You're trailing off, buddy.
We have that, one guy, that we're talking about that one thing from
Ben.
A month ago or so.
What? What were you talking about?
Maybe we should start with callers first. Just give us a call at 424-279-3858, and let's talk about anything. Let's what's on your mind, King Falls?
Ladies and gentlemen, put down your phones for a second. What Ben is trying to say is we've got a scoop here this evening on King Falls AM. We're going to be speaking with...
Or you can tweet us at King Falls AM. I will literally talk about anything right now, even to Mr. Dershowitz about that weird toenail thing. Let's go, people.
I thought we agreed.
I know, Sammy. I'm sorry. It's just I'm not feeling the best here. All right, my stomach is all knotted up just thinking about this.
That is journalism. That feeling is
I think
journalism.
it might actually be an ulcer. It tastes like fear and feels like cancer. It's way more than anxiety. I'm going to call Dr. Raoul at break.
He's a chiropractor.
Maybe he can refer me.
Power through it, buddy. Look at this, folks. We got somebody dialing into the hotline right now. You ready for this, Ben? Come on.
Please be Reverend Hawthorne so we can talk about the revival next month.
Oh, stop it. You know he isn't even scheduled.
I just thought maybe that's how prayers work. I don't know. I'm not a reverend.
King Falls AM, you're on the air.
Good evening. This is Dr. Jeffrey Rosenblum with the King Falls County Coroner's Office.
Can I please just say...
Dr. Rosenblum, it is a pleasure to speak with you this evening.
Excited to be here, Sammy. Ecstatic, even. We listen on slow nights.
That's the scariest thing I've ever heard.
Much appreciated, Doc. Now, as fate would have it, you were the overseeing physician working on the Lake Hatchinaw John Doe. Is that correct?
Doc, can you just hold on for one moment, please?
Of course, Ben,
Don't start, Ben. We agreed to see this.
All I'm saying, let me finish, is that maybe it's not our place to break this kind of news.
Fine. You know what? You're right. Let's just give this to our friends down at Channel 13 and let them be the ones to alert the public about us.
Doc, Ben Arnold, tell us about cracking open the mystery body.
Oh.
It's true that I was the operating physician on that particular John Doe, yes, irrefutably.
Now, as I understand, your official report was released yesterday morning, Doctor, but amazingly enough, not one publication or news station in our town, including King Falls AM, reported on it.
You are correct. Busy news day, one would assume.
So that means you are free to talk about it on air.
I would be elated.
First and foremost, on everyone's minds, were there any signs of, the lake I can't.
Did Kingsley make the body bite the big one?
There was no evidence that a creature large or small had anything to do with the deceased.
I knew Kingsley didn't have it in her.
Now, Dr. Rosenblum, can you tell us if there was any foul play involved at all?
During our first autopsy, we were not able to distinguish with certainty the cause of death, but there were no signs of foul play.
I'm sorry, did you say first autopsy?
Is that normal? Did you find out the cause of death during the second autopsy?
Indeed. It was 6 individual gunshot wounds to the victim's head, 3 shots to the temporal lobe, 2 to the medulla oblongata.
What? 6 gunshot wounds?
To the cranium, yes. 1 to the frontal lobe. Another to the...
So the Lake Hatchenhaw John Doe was murdered?
I can't believe this. This is big. Why didn't one news outlet report this thing yesterday?
Well, the cause of death was inconclusive, and with no signs of foul play, it was not exactly a juicy story.
Wait a second.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Doc. I'm not in the medical or criminal fields, but how is 6 gunshots not foul play?
Well, that was between the first autopsy and the second. The gunshots were self-defense administered via Deputy Krieghauser at my behest.
Ben, we're going to want to get Troy on the phone and see what he's got to say about this.
Things Ben Arnold would never think under ordinary circumstances for 800, Alex.
Doc, while we're getting Deputy Troy on the line, would you mind if we took a quick break to hear from one of our sponsors?
That's just dandy.
After a long day's work or a tough day's play, you probably just want to come home and relax. No need to slave over a hot stove for hours on end. Well, that's where we come in. Here at Granny Frickert's, we know that the less time you spend doing the things you don't like is the more time you spend with the ones you love. So come get some of the best frog legs that money can buy. Granny Frickert's French fried, farm fresh, never frozen, filleted and fricasseed, fried and flambéed frog legs. So get on down to Granny Frickert's Froggery at the corner of Main Street and 7th Avenue. We'll put some pep in your step and some hop in your heart.
And we're back on King Falls AM, here with King Falls County Coroner Dr. Jeffrey Rosenblum.
A pleasure.
Do you have Troy, Ben?
He's booking one of the Williams boys for mooning. He'll call us in a few.
I'm a little out of sorts here, Doc. Can you explain what happened between the first inconclusive autopsy and the point where Troy filled the cadaver full of lead?
Of course. As I was finishing up the initial post-mortem, it came to my attention that the deceased began to emit a hissing sound, fluctuating between the lower thorax and the larynx.
Oh my God.
I called for Deputy Krieghauser, and he entered, as I wanted someone else to see this phenomenon. That's when the John Doe began a slight thrashing about the upper torso.
Are you
The
saying...
deputy began to fumble for his sidearm, while we both discerned that something was wildly amiss. The deceased opened its eyes and instantly grabbed for the lapel of my lab coat with voracious tenacity.
Go on.
It gnashed its teeth as I emitted a terrified, albeit high-pitched, scream. And that's when Troy unholstered his sidearm and administered 6 lethal shots to the reanimated corpse's cranium.
A zombie.
All right,
We've got Troy on the line.
I don't care if he was only joshing. You can't show your GD derriere out in public. Hey boys, what's going on tonight?
You tell us, Troy. Holy jeez. We've got Dr. Rosenblum on the line here, and...
Is this about the zombie?
Yes. So you're confirming this story, Troy?
Well, hell yeah, I'm confirming. I had to do 3 hours of damn paperwork for unloading my pistola into a corpse. Sheriff Gunderson was not the happiest of campers.
This is amazing. This is unprecedented.
This is a little unbelievable, Troy.
It is a first in my profession, believe you me. Wowzers.
Honest engine, boys. I capped the all get out of that thing. It had the doc by the face about to start chewing.
You're my hero, Deputy Troy.
Shucks. Wasn't none special.
Except killing the first instance of a zombie in King Falls since...
Don't say sense.
Well, since that one time at the mall in the 80s.
No, that's not a real thing, Ben. That's a film.
Sammy, how many extraordinary things are going to have to slap you right in the face to make you buy into this? King Falls, man.
You know me, Sammy. I always shoot you straight, but it was the craziest shit I've ever seen. I mean, it was like my ex-wife needs alimony money crazy.
See? Even Barney Fife saw it.
I don't want to cause an uproar here, but since that exam, there have been other cases.
Of freaking zombies?
Of reanimation among corpses, yes.
Doc, you just give me a call if you need. I'm more than happy to go Clint Eastwood if the situation arises.
Will do, Deputy. Thank you so much for your assistance. Without you, there may not have been this interview.
To protect and serve.
I can't take all this in right now, Dr. Rosenblum. Thank you so much for your insightful information.
As they say, you got it, dude.
You okay, Sammy? You don't look so well.
Ah, hell, boys, I gotta go. I'll call you back later tonight. one of the Williams boys is trying to saw through the bars outside the jailhouse? Jacob Williams, put your hands up and the file down.
All right, King Falls, you've heard our story. Let's hear yours. Have you or anyone you know experienced anything like what the doctor spoke of? Reanimation? The walking...
Don't.
You know what I mean. Give us a call or tweet us.
Looks like the board is lighting up. What's up? Okay, it can't be any crazier than what we just heard, Ben.
Line 1, Sammy.
Welcome to King Falls AM. You're on with Sammy and Ben.
Good evening, Sammy.
Do I know you, ma'am?
Please hold for Mayor Grisham.
He probably just wants us to mark these tapes as evidence. Right, Sammy?
Or burn them.
Sammy Stevens, Mayor Grisham.
Mayor,
Sammy, Ben,
you're on live on King Falls AM, sir.
take me off and go to break. We need to chat.
No can do. Ben says we aren't scheduled for break for another at least 10 minutes.
Ben, cut to commercial.
The thing is, I can't do that, sir.
You boys want to talk live on air? We can talk live on air.
Nothing to hide on this end of the phone, Mayor Grisham.
I hear your snide remarks, Sammy. I read the transcripts.
Which, let's be honest, is pretty weird. We're a late night AM talk show. Why are you bothering with us?
Oh, I don't bother with you. I try to keep up to date with all the local news and entertainment. I gotta say, I was really happy a big city radio guy decided to come play host at our little radio station.
Well, I'm more than happy to.
I wasn't finished. But I have to say, I'm a little less than thrilled with all the excitement you brought with you.
I'd hardly call reporting the news excitement,
It's
sir.
interesting to me that I don't see Channel 13 breaking these crazy stories.
No offense, Your Honor, but those idiots don't know their assholes from their
and
elbows.
you boys being on site when these events happen, it's a little bit of a coincidence, don't you think?
Are you insinuating that we are staging these events, Mayor?
I'm stating facts. I'm sure your ratings are way, way up there since all these sensational events seem to coincide with your broadcast. Why do you think that is? Furthermore, I mean, who's up listening to you at this ungodly hour of the night?
Seemingly most of the town, sir, as well as whomever you've hired to keep an ear on us.
I've tried to be nice about this, and I tried to be civil. But I think it's about time that you troublemakers changed formats. No more of this funny business. It's not good for the listeners, it's not good for the residents, and honestly, it's not good for me. I don't appreciate being painted in this light, gentlemen.
Oh, you mean the light where you, as a public service, tried to quell the voice of the people?
It's not your right to tell us what we can and can't report on, sir. All due respect.
All due respect, Ben Arnold. Just a couple of months ago, you were digging up old records on eBay for Chet Sebastian to run on about. Now you're a media star? That's worrisome. Seems you fellas have all the reasons in the world to fabricate these issues, and I have to say I'm not going to sit here and listen to this while you lie to the good people of King Falls.
Well, when we start fabricating and making things up, you can come throw the book at us. But until then... Whoops. Looks like you just got disconnected. I'd wait for you to give us a call back and all, but with it not being an election year, I probably shouldn't hold my breath.
Line 1 is lit up again, Sammy.
Oh, sorry about that, Mayor. I must have fabricated accidentally dumping your call when...
Did you boys find a lavender ball of yarn in there? Been looking for it all week.
Sammy, I think that commercial might do us some good right now.
King Falls AM is a production of the Make Believe Picture Company. For credits, as well as more information about King Falls AM, you can find us on Twitter at King Falls AM, on Facebook, and at kingfallsam.com. Thanks for listening to 660 on the radio dial.